Imagine this, sipping an espresso, maybe on a little balcony, in your own Italian home,
Ah, the dream.
surrounded by history, beautiful scenery. And a kicker, you basically got it for, like, pocket change.
Sounds too good to be true, almost.
Exactly. Today, we're really getting into this whole phenomenon of €1 houses in Italy.
It definitely makes headlines, you know? That promise of la dolce vita without breaking the bank.
Right.
But, well, like most things that sound that good, there's usually more to the story.
So that's our mission today. For you listening, we want to unpack this, really explore the genuine opportunities out there.
And figure out what it actually takes to make that dream happen.
Absolutely. Because we've seen that, over 50 Italian towns and cities have tried these schemes since around 2011.
Yeah, something like that. Over 1,000 properties offered up. It's quite widespread.
And the variety of places is just stunning. I mean, you've got coastal spots like Toronto, Augusta.
And completely different vibes, like hilltop villages, Petrarica, for example.
Okay. Or medieval towns, Albugnano, Mienza, even island life in Sicily, Usameli, Calatafimi Sagesta.
It's fascinating, the range. Geographically, culturally, it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all deal.
No.
And each place has its own charm, but also, crucially, its own set of rules, its own hoops to jump through.
Right. So we've looked at insights from people who've actually, bought these places.
Yeah, buyers, local officials, property experts in Italy. Try and get that full picture for you. Requirements, renovation costs, the lifestyle.
Okay, let's dive in then. Where should we start? Maybe Toronto? In Puglia.
Good place to start. Toronto was one of the first big cities around 2020 to really push this.
And it's coastal property in southern Italy. For €1. I mean, seriously, where else do you find that?
Very, very few places. And what's interesting in Toronto is who can buy. It's quite open.
Oh, yeah.
Non-EU citizens, companies, agencies, they're all eligible.
But it's not just handing over €1 and getting the keys, is it?
Definitely not. You need a plan, a proper renovation project proposal. And then you have to get the building permits, which, navigating Italian bureaucracy for permits, that's a key thing to research early. It varies by region.
Right. So action is needed straight away. But imagine the payoff. Life in Toronto. Sounds pretty amazing.
It does. Those sea views, the history, like the 15th century Aragonese castle.
Wow. And museums, too. I saw something about a Spartan museum.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. So it's not just a cheap house. It's stepping into a whole culture, a whole way of life.
Oh, really different. Okay, so from the coast, let's go north. Avigliano in Piedmont. Sounds like a different world.
Completely different. Small town, up in the hills of Asti province.
Good for scenery wine.
Red and rosé wines, yeah. And a beautiful 12th century abbey. It's quiet. Population under 600 people.
Wow, tiny. So a real escape.
Definitely. And their scheme seems quite thought out. They have priorities for what the renovated properties should become.
Yeah, I saw that. It wasn't just about holiday homes, was it?
No, I mean, second homes are on the list, but the focus seems to be on primary homes for families, maybe younger people.
Housing for disadvantaged families, too, I think.
Yes. And tourist places, businesses, shops, workshops, it feels like they really want to benefit the whole community.
Which makes sense. It's about revitalization, not just selling off old buildings. That social aspect seems important.
It's a key point. They're trying to breathe life back in, thoughtfully. And location-wise, it's hilly, but not totally isolated.
How far from bigger places?
About 20 miles, maybe 34 kilometers from Asti. And Turin is about 33 miles, 53 kilometers away. So manageable.
Okay, good context. Now, Sicily seems like a hot spot for these schemes.
It really does. Lots of activity there.
Let's talk Musameli first. This one sounds really organized. They have their own website for it.
They do. Casa €1 Musameli. It lists properties, gives guidance. For anyone serious, that's a huge plus. Shows they're proactive.
Definitely inspires confidence. And the appeal. Moving to Sicily.
Yeah.
The biggest island in the Med. Traditional towns. Beaches.
It's a strong pull, absolutely. Musameli itself has around 11,000 people.
And what are the key requirements there?
Well, one interesting thing is you generally need to apply in person.
Ah, so they want to meet you. So you're committed.
Seems like it. Shows a desire for genuine engagement, perhaps. And then there's a 3-year deadline for renovations.
3 years seems reasonable for a major project.
It's a common time frame we see. And the lifestyle promise is big. Authentic Italy, beautiful nature, the Musameli Castle.
Okay, staying in Sicily. Augusta. Another coastal one, but East Coast this time.
That's right. Around 36,000 people. Known for, well, emerald waters, they say. Historic sites, busy harbor.
Sounds lovely. Again, feels like towns are playing up their natural beauty and history.
It's their main asset, often. Augusta's goal is similar.
Yep.
Fix up abandoned buildings, especially in the historic center, attract new residents, new businesses.
And the process.
Yeah.
Similar again. Renovation plan needed.
Yep. Submit a plan, finish the work within 1 to 3 years. They want to see results.
And attractions. Anything notable?
Faro Santa Croce, a lighthouse, I believe. The Spanish Gate, the Saline de Augusta, which are salt pans. Bits of history scattered around.
Sicily just keeps offering variety. Okay, next up. Calatafimi Sagesta. Still Sicily, but different again.
Yeah, this one's inland, Trapani province, northern Sicily. Not too far from Palermo, maybe 50 miles or so.
And known for history, ancient history.
Very much so. The Sagesta Archaeological Park is the big draw. Amazing Greek temple, theater, also Castello Eufemio.
Right. Now, the source mentioned something about availability here. A deadline.
Yes, this is important. When the source was written, there were 48 properties listed, but only until November 2025.
So these offers aren't always open-ended. That's crucial for people to know.
Absolutely. Windows can close. It might be due to funding or reaching a target. Who knows? But you can't always wait forever.
And their deadlines for work were quite tight, too.
Seems so. Start work within 3 months of getting the permit. Finish within 3 years. They wanted swift action.
Okay, good to know. Let's head back to the mainland. Mayinza in Lazio. What caught my eye here was its proximity to Rome.
Right. Less than 2 hours from Rome. That's a big selling point.
Imagine having a super affordable base that close to a major capital. And it sounds like that classic Italian hilltop town.
It does. Medieval center, a castle dating from the 12th to 16th centuries, natural surroundings.
Ideal for that traditional lifestyle, but without being totally remote.
Exactly. And their scheme is explicitly aimed at tackling a shrinking population, revitalizing the medieval village. It's that blend of peace and accessibility.
Okay, another one in Lazio. Patrica. This sounds a bit different. Over 40 abandoned places there as of early 2024.
Yeah, near Frosinone, rural commune. It's perched dramatically on a hilltop overlooking the Sacco Valley. Beautiful views.
So why the decline? It sounds gorgeous, about 60 miles from Rome, too.
It highlights that even beauty and relative proximity aren't always enough. Maybe the houses need a lot of work, or access is tricky. Depopulation is complex.
So their scheme is also about survival, essentially.
Pretty much. Avoid depopulation, revive the historic center. The requirements are familiar. Commit to renovating within a time frame.
But the appeal is still there, those views, the authentic vibe.
For the right person, absolutely. Someone looking for that specific dramatic landscape and willing to take on the challenge.
Okay, let's move to Campania, Zongoli. This one sounds like a success story.
It really does. They started back in 2018, and they were planning their 4th round of houses in 2024.
Wow, 4th time. That suggests it's actually working for them.
It implies they've managed to attract people, get investment, and see results. They seem to have found a formula.
And what's Zongoli like?
Small town, historic architecture, picturesque surroundings, very traditional agriculture, sheep herding are still important there.
Is that real, authentic, rural Italian experience?
Exactly. And again, commitment to renovate is key. They also seem quite upfront about other costs like insurance, permit fees.
Which is good. Managing expectations.
Very important in these projects.
All right, how about Penne in Abruzzo? This is a newer one on the list, right?
Yeah, one of the more recent ones. Started in 2022, I think.
And they sold some houses quickly.
Sold 6 initially, apparently, with potentially 40 more coming up. And interestingly, no down payments or deposits required there.
Oh, that's different.
It is. Seems like they're really keen to get people in. The mayor was quoted saying the old district just needs residents. Population's around 1,200, so they want to boost that.
Any idea on costs? Beyond the euro.
They actually gave a starting estimate for renovations, around 20,000 euro, which is roughly $22,000.
Helpful to have a ballpark figure, even if it's just a starting point.
Definitely. Shows a practical approach.
Okay, let's jump down south again. Caprahica di Lecce in, well, Lecce province. Puglia again.
Yes, deep south, the heel of Italy. But this one's maybe less remote than some.
Seems like it. Only a 15-20-minute drive from the city of Lecce, close to the coast. Charming historic center.
Sounds appealing. Their scheme is also about depopulation, restoring abandoned properties, but there's a big twist here.
Ah, yes, the ownership situation. This is really important.
Crucial. As the source highlights, buyers renovate and live there, but they don't actually get full permanent ownership in the traditional sense.
What happens?
After 20 years, the restored house goes back to the original owners or their heirs.
Wow. Okay. So you invest potentially a lot of money and time, but it's not yours forever.
Exactly. It's a very different model. Might suit someone looking for a long-term place to live and improve, but not necessarily an asset to pass down or sell on easily.
A very specific kind of buyer needed there, I guess.
You'd think so.
Okay, nearly there. Two more. Montieri in Tuscany.
Gorgeous area, Grosseto province, not too far from Florence, maybe 60 miles or so.
Classic Tuscany. Laid-back lifestyle, history, scenery.
All of that. They've been part of the scheme since 2016, so quite a while. Sold around 20 houses.
And what can you do with the properties there?
They seem flexible. Primary homes, second homes, or even tourist accommodation, trying to attract different kinds of investment.
But the condition of the houses still likely needs a lot of work.
Often, yes. The source mentions significant work needed on walls, roofs, fixtures is common. Need to be realistic about the scale of renovation.
Understood. And finally, Pietramala, near Naples.
Yeah, in the Caserta province, about 30 miles from Naples. Small place, population around 4,400.
What's its story?
Rich history, ancient watchtowers, nice scenery. They want to repopulate and restore the historic center.
And why is it declining? Any specific reason?
Interestingly, the source mentioned lack of parking in the historic center as a factor. People prefer living just outside where it's easier to park.
Simple logistics impacting centuries-old towns.
It happens. Shows the complexities. Their scheme allows houses to become homes, tourist places, or even restaurants.
And the timeline for work?
2 years from purchase. A bit shorter than some others.
Right. So, quite a tour. As we wrap this up, the main takeaway seems clear.
Absolutely. That dream of a €1 house is captivating, no doubt.
But the reality on the ground, it's really diverse. Every town is different.
Precisely. The motivations are similar, fighting depopulation, fixing up historic areas, but the how varies hugely. The rules, the requirements.
And the common threads seem to be expect renovation work, often significant.
Definitely. Be prepared for that commitment, both time and money.
Commit to a timeline, usually around 3 years, sometimes less.
Yep, they want to see progress.
But the potential reward is becoming part of real, authentic Italian village life, contributing something.
That's the flip side. It's not just taking, it's participating. Which brings us to a question for you listening.
Yeah, think about all these places, Taranto, Albignano, Musameli, Maenza, all the others. Which one sparked your imagination?
What part of that Italian lifestyle really calls to you? Is it the coast, the hills, the history, the quiet?
It's definitely worth digging deeper if one of these caught your ear. Check out those websites like Musameli's.
Maybe even try connecting with people who've done it. Lots of blogs and forums out there.
Because ultimately, this €1 house dream, it's this fascinating mix, isn't it?
Opportunity and responsibility, hand in hand.
It's so much more than just a cheap building. It's about embracing a different life, maybe reviving a community.
So what might you discover if you look just a little bit closer?